Chelsea were incredibly weak. This club have spent $1 billion. I don't think it was a great season from Sterling last season. Chelsea have got to sort out their injury crisis, and that's what the new medical team have got to do. They have to be making the top four, irregardless of what you think or know about the manager in terms of his level. So this is my top 5 things that Chelsea need to do next season to actually be a force to be reckoned with, right? Something that you can actually look at and say, right, we're worried about them. They're a team that are actually serious. And I think the first thing that I have to say is that any team that wants to play on the front foot, any team that wants to play possession-based football and play out from the back and build from defense, they need to have a goalkeeper that is reliable, that is consistent, and that is technically on point. And that is something that Chelsea at this current moment do not have. You look at the likes of Man City, even Ortega behind Ederson. You even look at Alisson. You just go through these names and you feel confidence. You feel the back line is protected, can be trusted, right? We don't have that with Sanchez, and we don't have a technically, good ball playing goalkeeper with Petrovic. So I think Chelsea needs to enter the market and get themselves a goalkeeper that is very, very good on the ball, top on the ball. And if they can do that, then I think the confidence radiates through the centre-backs, the full-backs, and all of that build-up play just improves. And then you have a base, you have a foundation to play your philosophy, to play your system. If you don't have that goalkeeper and he's just going to kick it long under pressure, he's not going to be able to play those passes in between the press. If he's not got the technical level to do it, then you're going to have to play from the front. And that goes to my next thing. Physicality. Chelsea were incredibly weak, not just minded at times when they let leads slip, physically on set pieces, physically on attacking set pieces, defensive set pieces. Chelsea don't have enough players that have a presence, that can bully. Chelsea used to be a team that bullied teams. Ballack, Essien, Drogba, Ivanovic, Alex, Terry. Chelsea used to be able to bully teams. Chelsea used to rock up and physically dominate teams. Now Chelsea are unable to do so, right? They don't have the capacity. So that's another thing. Physicality. Being able to impose yourself. Being able to strike fear into your opposition from all aspects. And I think if that could be improved, the set pieces and the physicality, I think they go together, then that would be fantastic, right? That would be a massive improvement on Chelsea from last season. So we've got those two. I think it has to be said, misprofiling and substitutions, because that's what we had last season, which was an issue with Pochettino. I think sometimes the substitutions were too late. He was always quite tentative. He was always haggling to substitute. He didn't really want to sometimes be proactive and make that change in good time. And in terms of misprofiling, we had Ben Chilwell at left wing. We had players playing out of position at times. Caicedo on an island in midfield. We had things that didn't quite add up in certain ways and certain times. And again, this season, players playing in their natural position. Players playing where they're comfortable. And also, of course, like I said, just making sure that your substitutions are proactive and that you're able to affect the game. If Chelsea aren't winning a match, can we, and this does lead into the next point, to be honest, so I'm not going to go completely all on Poch on that, but, can you influence from the bench? And then the injuries. Part of influencing from the bench, part of making sure that you can affect games with those substitutions is actually having some players available in the first place. Chelsea have got to sort out their injury crisis, and that's what the new medical team have got to do. You've got to get a solid group of players together that will stay fit consistently. I'm not saying you can't have 1, 2, 3 consecutive injury game by game. I think when Chelsea had that towards the back end of the season, they had like 3 injuries or maybe even 4. The squad was still really strong. The bench was really strong. So you can expect and have 3-4 injuries at a time. What you can't have is 7s, 8s, 9s, 10 injuries at a time, which is what Chelsea had. Because then the manager can't get consistency in the team. He can't build chemistries with players in the same flank, in the same midfield pivot, the same centre-back partnerships. And these, much like Ultimate Team on FIFA, as I'm sure you guys will play, the green lines need to be established. The understanding needs to be it needs to be established. The cohesion, the comprehension needs to be established. And you can't do that if you're switching and chopping and changing every week. Some consistency is needed. And the last point, and the most important point, is that certain players simply have to rise. certainly have to rise. I don't think it was a great season from Sterling last season, in considering his seniority and what his history is and whatnot in terms of his quality. He's got to do better if he's going to be here. Mudryk must rise. We must see more, right? Because we haven't seen enough. That whole left-hand side, in fact, because Chilwell can come into this. If you're fit and available and you're staying, if you are here as vice-captain, we need to see a whole heap more. Reece James, again, captain. You're suspended for the first few games. We need to see more. There's loads more players because Chelsea didn't have a great overall season in terms of league position consistently. But just to name a few, these players have got to improve. They've got to level up. They've got to be fit for some of them consistently. And they've got to start showcasing why we purchased them, showcasing the ability. Because otherwise it could be, you know, a do or die type season for them. You either do it this season or you leave at next summer. So we know those players simply have to improve. They have to improve their levels, their quality, because we can't build a team based on inconsistency. It's about time that some of the money invested is paid back. This team, this club have spent $1 billion and we haven't seen half of the money, right? It's not got lost. It's just been injured. The Lavias, of course, as well, right? 60 million, only played, what, 15, 30 minutes. So there's so many players here of quality that actually have something to bring to the table, whether it be off the bench, impacting games, whether it be starting to help fatigue and help rotate. We haven't seen these players, and we need to see these players. This season, we have to see the quality that we purchased on show. And for me, as long as we see those improvements across the board, I think Chelsea will be a lot better this season. I think they should be making the top four. They have to be making the top four, irregardless of what you think or know about the manager in terms of his level. I think the Chelsea board and the Chelsea group of directors, if you've made that decision to hire said manager, your aim has got to be top four, because we almost made top four last season. Very late push, but we almost made it. And we had so many injuries, and the manager was certainly up for question multiple times with certain managerial performances throughout, right, in certain games. So if we can come that close with all of that chaos and all of those issues, if we can keep, say, Christopher Nkunku fit, right, and then, of course, then he performs and needs to, because we paid good money for him, and he's a very good player. And I think he would have cured some of France's issues in the Euros just gone by in those half spaces, right? Some of that creativity that was lacking, some of that link-up play from midfield to attack that they were lacking. We need to see him. We need to see these players. And if we can see these guys that I've mentioned, and some of these guys that are not informed, that obviously need to prove themselves, I think Chelsea will finish in the top four. They need to finish in the top four, like I said. So yeah, guys, make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.